Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe and this is Off the Bar, brought to you by Green King. That is Jay Motti, that is Stephen Howson, and we're going to be talking. It's been a lot of negative this week.
Where was the little
season.
thing, man? Where was the...
Yeah, Off the Bar, there
Give
you
me
go.
the plastic one today.
What about you? Can you not do it?
Off the Bar. There you
There
go. We're going to be talking
That's a little thing we have.
about some potential reasons that things aren't so bad.
Joe,
Why it's still okay
Joe,
to be a Man United fan.
No, we're not.
We are. We absolutely are.
Do you know what? I don't think I've met anyone who can derail something so quickly. He usually does it in my intro. At least you got your intro out.
Well, the problem is...
Sponsored, innit?
Yeah.
There are...
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point. You know,
Like
it's not that
sport.
bad. Hey.
There are some reasons to be positive.
Who's it sponsored by,
aren't there,
Jay?
Green King.
Thank you.
There are some reasons to be positive, though, aren't there? Because it
No,
seems
Joe,
like it's
there
all
isn't.
bad.
There
There
isn't.
And also, here's the thing, Steve. Why not try and be positive? What do you gain from being negative?
What do you gain for being positive?
You might feel a bit better while the wheels are falling off.
Or you might delude yourself into thinking that it's not as bad as it really is.
But you say that, but I've realised over the years, and in my 30 years, that actually you get more pain from thinking something's going to be shit and then it being shit than you do from thinking it's going to be good and then being disappointed.
No,
I think that 12 months or 9 months or whatever the season's going to be, if you're just down and out and pissed off and struggling the whole time, it doesn't make when you're inevitably crap and when you inevitably finish sixth any better.
It does.
It doesn't. It actually doesn't. But you might have actually had 9 months where you felt optimistic, like it could turn around. Certainly 4 weeks in, there's some reason to be cheerful. Sure.
Expectations are where... the difference between your expectation and reality is where the pain is.
Yeah,
And I want you to jump in here, right? Because I want to give a bit of context there. Because there might be... I've actually realised over the last few years that people who aren't United fans watch us as well. Not many, but they do. So there might be someone watching going, what are you moaning about?
We do make content for United fans.
Yeah. What are you on about? Like, what's going on? It's not that bad, right? So we'll just... I don't want you to jump in if I miss anything. So we've got... Jadon Sancho's fell out with the manager.
publicly.
Wait. The managers fell out with Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
And he's slapped back.
Right,
It's
okay.
not just falling out with him publicly. That's it's quite serious. I think.
Okay, serious falling out with one of your most expensive players. We've already lost 2 games out of the first 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an issue going on with our other €100 million right winger. We don't know how that's going to pan out, but it ain't looking great at the minute. Our rivals down the road have just won the treble.
Right.
Started the season with 4 wins.
And started the season with 4 wins. Am I missing
And
anything?
they spent more than us in the summer.
The Glazers could be staying.
The Glazers could be stayed. Yeah, you missed some. We're selling off our academy, which we are known for fucking nothing.
Thank you.
It's in the papers today that we've just allowed a nonce back to Old Trafford and give him a fucking guard of honour, essentially.
By the way, I don't have to say allegedly there because...
Yeah, he went to jail for it.
Yeah. Owen Mary Earps, who's one of the, the best
goalkeeper in the world.
Best goalkeeper in the world. Apparently she's leaving because she's had enough. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So fuck you and your positivity. How about that?
Well, this is the thing. This is why it could all become like too much for us. You can go, what is the point? But we're going to turn that around for you because we've got reasons to be cheerful. Yeah.
All right.
As the song goes.
However, no. Right. I'm happy to go through these things that might be positive for you, but I think ultimately what's going on at Manchester United, it feels almost cheap and to parrot Brian's gun on Twitter. It's lazy punditry to just sort of blame the Glazers, but ultimately United's woes, every single... can we go a day without our board fucking something up? Because even the statement about Anthony was kind of like, we're making a statement, and what is in the statement? It is that we made a statement. Cheers, lads. Can we go a day without our board bollocksing something up? Whether it's a transfer, whether it's a statement, whether it's an action, whether it's whatever the fuck it is, can we go a day without our board bollocksing something up? You might have said it. I can't remember if it was you or Sam Homewood. It was one of y'all.
There's a.
But it was like Manchester. When you was growing up, Manchester United used to be seen as a force for good. Jay mentioned the 2008 Champions League final was good versus evil.
That's how I termed it to someone who asked. Yeah.
Manchester United used to be at the cutting edge of everything. We were the people that brought Prozone and like running data and tracking and analysis into the Premier League. We did that. Sir Alex Ferguson never gets the credit for that, by the way. But that was Sir Alex Ferguson and Prozone. They had a bet that if United won, I think was it a trophy, he would get 50 grand. Mal Bagovan, I think he was called, the guy that brought Prozone. I think he wanted like $250,000 or 100, whatever. He wanted some cash, And Martin Edwards spun it around with him and basically made him a bet. Basically, if this works and we win a trophy, we'll pay you. Otherwise, we ain't fucking paying you.
Right.
And we won everything. The guy got paid.
Nice.
And Fergie sorted him out tickets for the Champions League final. So
Better than money.
you probably couldn't have bought one. So we did things like that. When we built Carrington, we did it as a cutting edge, sports science facility. We were the people that we brought the homegrown players through. The England squad was basically half of United.
Yeah.
We were the people that led the fight for British football into Europe and in Europe. We had our commercial activity copied the world over. People used to basically say, just do what United are doing. Like, we were the force for good in the world. And I ask you, what's changed? Because we are not the force for good in the world. We've got our players acting like twats. We've got our board almost justifying it or saying jack shit about it with the decisions that they're making. We get rinsed when we're selling players. We get rinsed when we're buying players. We don't bring through homegrown products anymore. The stadium's fucking falling apart. There's a complete and utter disconnect between the fans and the board. We're no longer a force on the fucking pitch. We've only just managed to bring back women's football to the football club when it was enough pressure on us to fucking do so. Like, we didn't do it because it was the right thing to do. We did it because we was going to get abused if we didn't fucking do it. Like, you say there's reasons to be positive. I'm sure there's reasons to be positive, but you're telling me there's reasons to be positive when we're standing up to our nipples in shit, Joe.
And I agree with all of that. But we can still have a pina colada in one hand with the shit in it.
You can still be.
Do you know what I mean?
And you can still be enjoying the music on the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly. Everything
you can be going, them violinists are good.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
But everything you've said there
is like
true.
These canapes, the bollocks. Like, can you see the water? The rats have already gone.
Yeah,
I'm loving this ice in my drink.
Everything you say is right, and I'm not saying there aren't reasons to not be cheerful, because there's loads of reasons to be pissed off, to be annoyed. We talk about them every day on the channel. You talk about them most days on your channel. There's plenty of coverage of that. What I'm trying to do is have a look at what the positives are, if there are any. I feel like they aren't getting any light shone on them. And there isn't any good coming out of Manchester United at the minute, but actually there is.
We've sort of
got the biggest wage bill.
Yeah. Despite
top of that table.
Despite your efforts, and you are very cynical at times, and I enjoy our conversations when you are. On this channel, we have tended to be more positive, especially about players and stuff like that. You very rarely see all the ranting and all that sort of stuff.
It's called being a fucking supporter.
That's what I'm saying to you. You're right.
So
You're
here's
100%
a few things
right.
to support.
So, despite all of that, I'm still fucking going next week.
Of course you are.
Exactly. And here's a few things
I'm with
to
you, bro.
support in the
I'll be
meantime.
there.
So, first of all, Rasmus Hojlund.
Yeah.
A positive. What did you make of him against Arsenal? What have you seen in him before you arrived at United? What we saw in those sort of 35 minutes that make you think this could be something exciting?
Well, that's all everyone, I hope, saw in terms of that. He's a player that's got a bit of tempo defensively in him. It looks like he's a little bit of quality. He looks like he's determined to get to the goal at any opportunity. He's very direct in what he's doing. He's a bit of a unit.
Nice that, innit?
I like that, yeah.
It's nice having someone that's like fast and big.
Difference you think he could make, Steve, to players like Bruno and like Casemiro? Because you see sometimes them balls are putting through him. Someone like Marcus get on the end of it. Someone like Anthony Martial sometimes can be found a little bit wanting. Other players
Never
maybe.
heard that before.
Yeah. How much difference do you think he could make to those players? Because you're looking at someone going, yeah, I've got someone.
He's not just like a Mark Hughes, hold it up kind of guy. No. He can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good as Mark Hughes, because
no one can.
I don't know if that's possible.
No.
Not with them thighs. He needs to just to be in squats 5 times a day, let alone a week, to have that. And the shorts need to be way shorter. Way shorter, Joe.
Barely even short.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know how he got in them.
No. He had to get him on over his shoulders because that was narrower than his thighs.
That makes sense.
Yeah, more likely. So I think he's got a hold-up play in him, but he's also got an in-behind threat. And you don't typically get players that have got hold-up threat and in-behind threat, so that's nice. The fact that he's a hard worker and he's going to press from the front, I would say he's going to be mega for us. And it's been so long. I think you mentioned it a few times. It was Lukaku the last time we had like a striker in his 20s.
Yeah, it's mad.
And it's unreal in it for a club like us, and the struggles.
Lukaku's had about 7 moves since then.
Yeah, and he doesn't. The thing is,
where is he even? Is it Roma?
Roma, I think.
Yeah,
Roma.
He doesn't even need to be that good, Hojlund. Like, he doesn't need to. You look at Weghorst. I know he didn't score any goals, but he would have got 5 or 6 if he'd just been a bit faster. Like, there was the amount of times the ball's like rolling in front of him and he's stretching and he couldn't quite get to it, or he'd take a touch but someone would close him down. Like, even if you just had Weghorst with some more legs, we'd have got another half a dozen, maybe a dozen goals last season.
I just
let
think
alone everything else he brings.
You could beat him.
Weghorst, I do think
I don't know, man. He wasn't that slow.
He was.
He's finishing. He got chances. He just couldn't finish. Look at the last game of the season at Old Trafford. His pace gets him there, but he fluffs it. Do you know what I mean? He stretches and gets to the ball.
There was one against Barcelona
and he just fluffs it.
away from home where he's through on goal, and by the time he shoots, there's like 3
but
men
a lot of that,
in
you're right, but a lot of
overlapped
that is dithering.
Yeah.
Because he dithered.
Well, maybe that's fair.
know what
That's
I mean?
another point. But I just think, like with Hojlund, just the pace and the aggression and the size. Like, Lukaku was big and fast, but doesn't play like a big lad. He likes, like you said, he likes playing the ball in behind and running after it. He's not particularly good at holding the ball.
He's
not
closer to Michael Owen in terms of the player style he is than people assume.
When you see him and he's 6'2" and he's big and broad, you think he's one thing, but he's not. And Hojlund is much more of that. He's much better at getting stuck in. Like, I saw him on Gabriel, like smashing into him 2 or 3 times, getting his elbow and his shoulders.
He's a bit closer to Zlatan in that style.
Yeah, I love
Miss that. That's a fan's favourite. Right there, you can see players that do that get stuck in. That's the biggest gripe people have got with Martial.
How good would Zlatan have been at 24?
Don't. Honestly.
In the Premier League as well, when he's
at Manchester United.
Yeah, he's getting 12 headers a
season. When would that have
been?
So that would have been 11 years before we had him. So that would have been 2000.
It's about 16 years ago.
2006.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he'd have been part of the European.
Instead of getting,
win.
would you, if you could, would you instead of getting
Berbatov?
No, instead of getting Tevez.
It'd have been instead of Berbatov.
Well, let's do it Tevez instead, because
let's do Berbatov because it's better.
Okay. But obviously you would pick him instead of Berbatov. You got to pick him instead of someone who won us or helped win us the Champions League. So would you rather have had Tevez for 2 years on loan, or Zlatan for 2 years on loan?
We wouldn't have been as fluid in the forward.
I'd stick with Tevez.
We wouldn't have been as fluid because
you can't dismiss.
It was the forward rotation that made it as deadly as it was.
What is Zlatan going to do?
Who's playing right wing? One of us.
He's going to come in and maybe he'll probably win us the Champions League.
Yeah,
which Tevez did. And let's not forget, I love Sir Alex Ferguson, he's the greatest manager ever lived. But I've still never got over the fact in Rome he didn't start with Tevez. I still don't get that one. And even he's admitted about Park, he should have put Park deeper. And I think he should have started Tevez. I'm sorry. But Tevez and Rooney were phenomenal against Barcelona in that semi-final the year before. And to drop him, we just lost something. I just think we lost something.
I just think he hadn't had enough time to really get his head around how to play against that Barcelona side.
Maybe, yeah, because it did evolve, didn't it, from the 2008 game we played against him to when Pep's come in and you changed it. I mean, he had Toure at centre-back, didn't he, against us? It was mental.
Because they were beatable. I mean, they were probably the greatest club side ever, but they were beatable. That there was flaws in that system that United had.
Rene?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was in pre-season we beat him and he was like, the blueprint was there. I know it's friendly, but just wasn't to be. So go on, Hojlund's min.
The positivity number 2. Okay, Mason Mount.
Now, okay.
He's been getting a lot
now.
He's been getting a lot.
If you've lost him, you lose.
Has that advert gone out for a new presenter yet?
Because hang on a minute.
We need to talk about this.
So on his channel about this Mason Mount thing, right? And I hated it as well because he said to me, he goes, "Do you want to come on my channel and talk about Mason Mount?" Because we've been linked with him. And my instinct was like, "We don't want him." And he was like, "Well, do you want to come on the channel and say?" I was like, "Yeah."
So he's done you.
Part of me's thinking, we ain't getting him anyway, so it don't matter. So I laid into him for like half an hour, and he's sticking up for him, saying all the things that you'd want to hear from about a future Man United player. And I'm like, he's rubbish, overrated, he's boring, he's a Tory, everything, right? And he's just like sticking up for her. And then next thing you know, we buy him. I'm like, all those things I said on Steve's channel, I didn't mean them.
So you say that about him, but we saw issues in the first few games with him leaving space for Casemiro, him and Bruno. If we can turn him into more of a box-to-box, a Yaya Toure, if you will.
Wow, no pressure then. Probably, other than like Keano, the greatest box-to-box midfielder the Premier League's ever seen.
Yaya Toure, because he votes Tory, so he's not quite the same.
Right, yeah.
Can we turn him into that still?
Yeah.
Can we turn him into Yaya Toure?
Bro, we'll be lucky if we turn him into fucking Colo Toure. Man, that's. I know you're just saying.
Is that a serious question?
No, it's not.
I just wanted to say Yaya Toure, didn't I?
It's not. even in Mason Mount's wildest dreams, I bet he's not thinking, I'm going to be
he's
the
not
next
thinking
Yaya
about-
Toure.
What I'm trying to say is,
can we put 4 or 5 stone on him? Can we grow him about 4 or 5 inches?
Yeah.
Can we get him
completely
scoring
change his
worldies?
entire game?
Get him scoring 20 goals in a Premier League
if we can
season.
do all those 3 things, yeah, it can be.
Can we get him to absolutely love birthday cake and hate it when there isn't
Can you
one?
get him to put a hex on Pep?
Yeah. No. What I'm actually trying to say is, do you think we can find balance in that midfield?
That didn't work.
Look, well, apparently they rescinded it last season, but I think they've realised they're going to win it, and they're going, oh, by the way, we've stopped that now, because they saw what was coming. Right, you backed him, yeah, and you gave a proper argument on your channel as to why Mason Mount would work at United. Now, it's been 2 Premier League games, right? So
defend it.
yeah, no, but that's my point. Like, surely you've not changed your mind.
People
And I
are
hate
kicking
using the
off
word
with them
surely
already.
at the beginning of the sentence when I ask you a question.
No, no, I'm not.
Realistically.
I'm not going to change my mind after 2 games. Absolutely not.
No.
Like, fucking lucky. Imagine if someone had been like, hey, we're signing this fucking Russian, Serbian or something from Spartak Moscow. Is any good? I don't fucking know. Watch his first game. Yeah, he's shit. Told you he was shit. Do you know what I mean?
Or
Like
the French keys that we had on left.
Oh,
back
that
next to
French
him.
fella, yeah.
Yeah, he had a good
That little
45
fucker.
minutes, didn't he, against City?
Yeah, get him hooked.
Jesus, wept.
Imagine that, getting hooked on your debut at half time
Yeah.
and being a legend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, imagine judging that quick. No, has he been great? No. I don't think you said great. I don't think he's been as bad. I think people love to focus on it. Fucking Joel's doing this with Onana. Anytime we talk about a
get to that
game,
in a minute.
he's like, oh, fucking, what about Onana then? I'm like, what about Onana? Like, I think he looks good. I think that's kind of happening with Mount, but you haven't got the goals, the chances, or whatever to sort of to back it up. I would say him and Bruno are right on each other's toes at the moment. It does look a little bit like nobody knows their role. But in these 4 games, who the fuck has played well for the club?
Certainly in those 2 games, especially the games against who was it he played? It was Wolves and
Spurs.
Tottenham, wasn't it?
I think he'll look better when he's not relied upon to start all the time, and when he comes in, he'll come in with a purpose to do a certain job. And I think Amrabat, which I know is one of the next topics, probably starts more frequently than Mount does. Injuries are
But you're right to sort of say, look, we've got a player here, the manager wanted him, we know what he's about, he's not had the opportunity yet, he's got injured. When he comes back from injury, there is a player there.
Yeah.
There is a player that we can look forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Because at the moment we haven't seen anything of him, really.
No.
And you can't, like, don't just bore off with pre-season. And also, 2 games where Steve pointed out, everyone was woeful.
Yeah.
Good players were woeful. Martinez was woeful.
Rashford.
Casemiro was. Rashford. And I love these players, but they didn't play well against Wolves and Spurs.
No.
So you make a good point. I think it's just nonsense that people want to buy into. Well, Mount's flopped, hasn't he? Well, no, he hasn't.
He's played 2 games.
Like,
That's
what
genuinely
are you
insane.
talking
You
about?
can't be a success or a flop in 2 games. You could have scored 6 goals in those 2 games, and you still can't say that transfer is a success because it takes more than 2 games to assess a £60 million move.
It's like you were saying about Vidic and Evra. Di Maria and Memphis Depay had mint beginnings to their United careers.
Yeah.
They were both. I think both of them were
As
playing.
did Lukaku, as we spoke about before.
unqualified successes.
Yeah, exactly. Lukaku scored 9 in his first 10. Exactly. Yeah, like they had a
All
mint
3
start.
unqualified successes.
Yeah, and then fell off cliff. Whereas 2 of our legends had a terrible start, and look what happened. It's too early to tell.
Yeah,
It
and
is.
just having another body in there that is capable of, double-digit goals and assists in a season. We need that. We didn't score enough goals last season.
Yeah, but what do people want?
I don't
Just
know.
to go return him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
Got
ridiculous.
me a receipt here.
Yeah. and then and like there's this thing like already where it's like when Havertz left Chelsea fans were like, can't believe we got 60 odd million quid for him. He's terrible.
Yeah.
When Mount left, they were fucking raging, right?
Yeah.
And now because Havertz nearly got a penalty against United, it's like, well, you can see what Havertz is doing. Oh, you stick
He's
with
been
him.
shocking.
The manager's going to stick with him. He might come good him. You know what I mean? Arteta's making. He's going to mould him and all that. Yeah, because he's famous for moulding players. Whereas with Mount, it's like, oh, he's done. It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's United with the news all the fucking time.
Next
That-
reason
that
to be
makes
positive,
sense.
and you've already mentioned that people are trying to force this agenda that he's reckless or he can't save or whatever. I think Andre Onana has been one of our best players this season so far. Maybe
If you was
behind-
giving Player of the Year awards out today, which is giddy after 4 games, he gets it.
Yeah, like I thought against Arsenal, it's not his fault the rest of the team couldn't progress the ball up the pitch. The fact that he made so many passes, kept the ball so much, allowed United to have some semblance of any kind
And
of
the fact
possession.
that his possession was so good
Yeah.
isn't his fault.
No.
Like, what a mad, Onana, he's the only one on the ball.
Yeah, Oh, that's his fault, is it?
Yeah, what's he better do?
Yeah, score, pass it to himself in the middle, then play it out to himself on the wing.
No, he's
then
meant
cross
to
it
have less
his own
possession,
head.
Joe.
It's just ridiculous.
It's mental, ain't it? That's such crazy. You know what? I'm glad you pointed that out, 'cause I saw that on Twitter, people sort of saying
Like, I
that.
read it multiple times when I was sitting down and I'm going,
What
wait, are you mad at
talking
him?
about?
Yeah.
Wait, why are you mad at him?
People are mad at him.
If he weren't so good on the ball,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have kept giving it to him, and then we would have gone up the pitch and scored more. No, that doesn't make any sense.
'Cause every time he gets
None
it,
of that makes sense.
he plays it forward. He's not playing it behind
Yeah, he
himself.
can't pass
He's
it back.
trying to play it forward, and then it comes back
Joe,
to it.
maybe that's the problem.
Yeah,
He's not really recycling it.
that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, he's only playing forward. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, there has been no issues
Fuck off,
with
honestly.
Onana so
Let your
far.
field tilt up your ass.
Like,
Honestly, it's so bad, isn't it? When
even
you
that
say
Rice
that.
goal, like the if you really wanted to be critical, you could say, oh, maybe, anytime, just blanket statement, if you get beaten at your near post, it's not great. But if you actually look at the goal, it gets a deflection on the 5 yards out, and he still almost gets his hand to it.
There's context of your near post, right? David De Gea used to get beat his near post all the time off Sergio Aguero, because Sergio Aguero used to lever it from about 1 yard out into the roof of the net when he was through on goal with no one challenging him. Like, there's context. You can't just that, like, I get what you mean, like the whole blanket statement of your near post. Usually it's true, but there are mitigating circumstances. And when you've took a mad deflection and you're 4 yards out, and he's got to try and adjust, and he gets an answer, he just can't adjust quick enough. I'm not pointing a finger at him. I'm pointing a finger at why that Declan Rice was allowed the freedom of the Emirates to get his shot off in the 97th minute. Yeah. Like, that's such bad defending, and we're pointing at the goalkeeper. It's nonsense.
No, we're not pointing at the goalkeeper.
Sorry.
Opposition fans, and idiot pundits, and probably TalkSport, which is idiot pundits.
Yeah, that's a rung below idiot pundits.
You see, they did a screenshot of Marcus's penalty and Havertz, and being like, penalty, no penalty, and like.
You put it out, didn't you? You tweeted that.
Correct.
But it's the pitch they show of Marcus shows him getting fouled, and the one of Havertz shows him not getting fouled. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
I was surprised that was overturned, because VAR doesn't seem to have that level of bollocks usually.
No.
So
even though it was the right decision, I thought
even
I
though it
was
was the right decision, you kind of like, well, is it big enough to turn it over? Like, there is contact. Like, you never really see that stuff get turned over. No. Like, I hope to see more of that in the future.
Yeah, because that was just a.
And like we said on Friday, fat lines for everyone.
Yeah, thicker, so that someone's got to be proper offside to be offside.
Yeah, if they're touching, sound.
Yeah. Let's move on to another one then. And
Onana is one. I am very excited, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
I love what I've seen so far, and I think he has lived up to
Very
expectations.
strong chance Jay's putting him in his top 2 United goalkeepers of all time at the moment.
For the 23-24 season, Off the Bar is sponsored by Green King Sports, where football is more than just a game. Green King Sports venue are showing every televised Manchester United fixture this season.
So instead of watching a dodgy stream, grab your mates and get yourself down to your nearest Green King pub.
And finally, the best thing is Green King Sport have just released the Green King Sport Instagram account, where you can get all of the latest competitions, news and prizes as well. So make sure you give them a follow, because you're not just going to be first to find out about all of the above, but you'll be also helping out Stretford Paddock. So make sure you give them a follow. The link to that account is in the description. Go and give Green King Sport a follow.
So, Sofian Amrabat.
Yeah.
There's a reason to be cheerful.
Not even played yet.
Because the internet tells me he's really good.
Shout out to my neighbour Wilf, next door neighbour, United fan.
Wilf's a good name.
He's got a blue on the other side of us.
Have you?
I might start robbing it. He seems to put a blue wash on, and he's like handful of shirts in there.
Yeah.
Should I start robbing them?
I don't know. When you get into them wars of attrition with your neighbours,
I'll win.
Gets, and you will win. I think you will. I can definitely see you being in the papers.
Anyway, so Wilf on the right hand side, he's happy days. We got a blue on the left.
Right, okay.
We might be missing some shirts soon. It's windy. In our neck of the woods. Wilf collars us yesterday. I ain't seen him for a couple of weeks. So he had a big download about everything. I've already spoke about loads on it.
Yeah, nice. I love that. I love when that happens.
But he was talking about Amrabat, and he was like, I only saw him at the World Cup. He goes, and I saw that clip of him chasing down Mbappe. I'm like, yeah. I think the whole world's seen that clip multiple times this week. And I'm like, yeah, he's got a bit of the dog in him. And not only that, the player that he actually is ain't even that. What we saw in the World Cup is like a side plate to the main meal that we're getting out of Amrabat. and I think he will be a massive positive for us. Like we've been trying to play Christian Eriksen in there, who he's not a 90-minute player anymore. I think there's a use for him. I think Emirates away, Etihad away, Anfield away is the spot for him. I think Amrabat's got a little bit of both sides of the coin in him. He can do the defensive side. I think if you tactically tell him you're just going to sit alongside Casemiro and destroy, he'll go, no problem. I'd like you to get hold of the ball, move it forward, find some of the more creative players, no problem. And I think the likes of Mount, the likes of Bruno, the likes of Rashford, they're going to get better. Like, you're asking Casemiro to do the job Kroos and Modric did at the moment. Let him just do the job Casemiro's there to do. And then you'll see a better Casemiro, and you'll see everyone else be better as well. We're judging Onana at the minute on his ability to be the midfield fucking dictator because no one else is. Just judge him on being a goalkeeper. He's pretty good at that.
So with Amrabat then, people, I think, want him to be, like you said, this sort of defensive midfielder, gets in, gets stuck in, tracks Mbappe, gets some slide tackles in, wins the ball back. How good is he at that stuff? Because, I think a lot of people, they saw the World Cup and maybe the Europa Conference final, pretty much in terms of what they've seen of him.
Well, according to FB, ref, awful.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this.
Yeah,
because I was looking at his stats.
Dog shit.
And his like percentiles for tackles and interceptions and blocks and clearances and all that sort of stuff. When Casemiro came, all of that stuff was like some of the best in Europe, statistically as well as just what you see. Amrabat is statistically quite poor. The things he seems to be best at...
He's 99th percentile for anything to do with being on the ball.
Yeah. So where has this perception come from? And actually, are people going to criticise him because, well, where's all the tackling that we thought?
Yeah, where's what I thought we were getting and not what he is? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that, yeah. And for sure, TalkSport will be like, why is Ten Hag trying to change him? Or something to that effect. Yeah. That's not who he is. I think what it is Morocco had a team that had to do a certain thing in each of its games. And he was adaptable enough to be able to sit in and do it. And for half a dozen games, 4 or 5 games, you can look really, really good performing a role in a team that's going to play on the counter. And he did that. If I asked you can you talk to me about 5 of the passes that he made in that? No. But that's who that player is. Now, what it tells me is that if you require him to do it, there's an edge to him. I liked one of the lines in his interview, don't really want to talk, I'd rather just show you on the pitch. Yeah. Might have came in my pants hearing that sort of thing, because that's the sort of like stoic, hard attitude that I think that you fucking need. That's a winning mentality for me. Like, he's not talked about how it's his fucking dream to be here and mama we made it, and he's like, yeah, stop fucking talking to me, let me just get on a pitch and show you what I'm about. Love that. I bet even Roy Keane went,
yeah, nice. No, I mean, I don't know a lot about him, but from people that I respect who've watched him in Italy and from, the various sort of stats that have been thrown up and little clips and stuff, he obviously, there's a reason we've got him. You can see, like you're saying, how he gives us something different that we need, especially away from home in some of these bigger games where we struggle, because I love Christian Eriksen. I think he's a great player, he's great to watch. And we saw actually a pretty decent game from him at the Emirates, other than that bit where he went to sleep for Odegaard's goal. He had a decent game, but since he's been at United, I agree with you, those haven't been the games for him. Bringing in someone like Sofian Amrabat, it is a reason to look at it and go, this is a positive move. This is what we've been crying out for, because we've all looked at it over the last few years and gone, Fred, he has his uses, probably not the levels you want. McTominay, debatable whether he's good enough, even after he's been here in the first team for about 6 years, whatever it is. This kid's coming in, you're going, all right, this is what we've needed. He can either complement Casemiro, or if Casemiro needs a bit of a breather, maybe you give him a chance or whatever. It makes a lot of sense, and it's the type of signing that we've avoided over the last few years. Where you've gone, we should be getting him, and we haven't. This time we have, and I think that is a positive move.
And you got Mount as well.
Yeah.
And Mount's got more uses. He's got more uses across the forward line. There's some talk about whether we were going to see him played off the right. Maybe, I think it's more likely you'll see Bruno played off the right. I'd like to see Mount played off the right. I like Bruno's energy in the middle.
I like Bruno's energy in the middle, yeah.
And I'd like to continue with that. I'd like to see us maybe evolve to a bit more of a 4-3-3, like a triangle rather than a 2 and a 1, which I understand is a triangle. But you know what I mean. I would like to see us evolve to more of that rather than the 2 6s that we have now. And I think Mount is more suited to maybe being someone that can take somebody on in the final third a little bit and get a cross off and create like that. And also having Hojlund in the team to fucking aim for versus Marcus.
Yeah.
It's not his game.
No, it's
Those
not.
little balls that we've been playing, that we've had like 3 massive chances from. We scored with it against Forest where Bruno nods it down. Rashford headed over the bar. Casemiro had a shot saved. Bruno hit it over the bar, didn't he? Do you know the little left half space ball to the back post that City score 30 goals a season from? Liverpool used to score loads, but that's why Salah and Mane were getting 10 headed goals a season each because of that ball and overloads. Like, it's good that we're seeing patterns of play. But imagine Hojlund in there and and maybe an Amrabat as well, rather than Martial and whoever. It's Eriksen. It's already. You can see how that's going to get converted a lot more than it is now. Like, it is exciting.
Yeah, it's got no fucking defence.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't worry about that. Stop being nitpicking.
Well, speaking of no defence, I'm going to spin the fact that we've got shitloads of injuries into a positive.
Go on.
Think about,
you know, play the youth.
No.
No, sold them all.
Yeah, we did do that.
When you say all, you mean all. Like,
For peanuts.
That list was
They've gone.
Unreal.
Do you know what it was? I think he wanted a fucking... I've lost the momentum with the joke now. A Zumba studio in the fucking under-21s changing room.
Yeah. Just where have all they gone? And they just Ten Hag in there, just going for a jazzercise and stuff.
He's good.
Yeah. Sweating his tits off by himself. Steve McLaren at the front.
With maracas.
So on one hand,
Go, Eric.
Doing his Dutch accent. On one hand, you could say we've got loads of injuries. That's a bad thing.
No, that's the truthful hand.
It's
not one hand.
On the other hand, you
on.
could say this United side almost beat Arsenal. We were
The point here,
two inches of Garnacho's face away from beating Arsenal, right? And we've still got Luke Shaw,
this
Varane,
is the bit that's good.
Martinez, Lindelof. I know they aren't injured, but they didn't finish the game. We've still got who else?
How the fuck did Arsenal become the benchmark of anything?
Still to come back.
Mainu's one of those players I'm excited to see. I was looking forward to seeing. We saw him against Arsenal where he smashed it in pre-season. Very unlucky against Real Madrid. He's going to come back and get minutes. Luke Shaw probably played his best football for United under Erik ten Hag. We've missed him. Get him back in and get him fit as well because he didn't look quite at the pace for the beginning of the season.
No.
And sometimes,
he didn't, and Casemiro still doesn't.
Yeah, it takes a little while for him to get going. Diallo, I don't know whether he's going to feature under the manager. I don't know if he fancies him, but it's another option. It's an exciting option if he does get a chance as well. So there are players where you go, do you know what? I want to see these players in a United shirt. They're good players, and I think they'll do a good job for us. So yeah, that is something that just gets ignored. It was like all the injuries that we had against Arsenal, people just forgot about, and we're going on about Thomas Partey all day. Oh, Arsenal missing Thomas Partey. All right, Arsenal missing their right back. We're missing, ended the match missing 4 centre backs.
Was he injured though, or not? Was it not just a selection issue?
God knows.
Because he's been picking Havertz.
No, I think he got an injury, didn't he? Because he couldn't go on international duty, but. Again, it's like they could have been missing their third choice goalkeeper and they would have made a big deal out of it.
Bigger deal.
Yeah, and that would have been like the reason they didn't win if they hadn't won. So it's like, come on, look at the actual players that start for Manchester United or will feature for Manchester United that were not available or couldn't finish that game against
I said the weekend,
Arsenal.
It just feels poopy pants because the window sort of ends with a little bit of a fizzle because you're like, we got the player that we've been... That's basically told everyone else to go fuck themselves all summer.
Yeah.
We got him, even though he's turned down moves elsewhere, and he's not trained, and all of this sort of stuff's happened. We got him. Right, that's a shock.
Yeah. On loan as well, though, because we've got no money. So everything's a double-edged sword at best, isn't it?
Like I said, up to our nipples.
Yeah.
So you get the guy that you thought you were getting. So it's not even like a surprise on Christmas. You're like, I've already had this for 3 months. And then you get the news that whether it's true, whether it's PR, whether it's spin, whether it's like whatever it is, you get the news that the Glazers aren't going, and then you lose to Arsenal in mental circumstances in a game that is probably going to be a case study for training on refereeing.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Like you say that about, and you're right. We knew we were going to get Amrabat, or we're linked with Amrabat, and it feels a little bit underwhelming when you get a player being linked with. But let's have it right. We've had transfer windows where we've just gone and got a load of players we don't need or we didn't know what to do with. Like,
Still not why we bought Danny Van Beek.
Yeah, Donny van de Beek's not even in the Champions League squad. We had that window where we got him, Palestri, Diallo, Telles, and Cavani. And Cavani weren't even available for the first month.
We got a backup left back.
Yeah.
A fourth choice centre mid.
Yeah.
2 youngsters who went both on loan, or certainly one of them did.
With no use to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer whatsoever.
And a striker that was designed to be a backup striker. He ended up being our first choice striker, but
mainly because our main striker dropped off rather than he was amazing.
Yeah, we got a second choice striker, a second choice left back, a third choice midfielder, and 2 third and fourth choice right wingers. Like, that was a mad window.
And that was like in the last week.
At least we've tried to improve the first team in midfield, in goal,
You got a new core.
up front.
Yeah, you got a striker, you got a centre mid or 2. One of them's probably going to play.
Yeah.
You got a new goalkeeper. I think we wanted a centre half, but we just couldn't get rid of fucking Slabhead.
Yeah. Which is annoying, but it's not that drastic. My only gripe about the window was we didn't get another striker, which I knew weren't going to happen anyway, to be honest.
It's a bit giddy, isn't it?
Yeah,
to think you want to get 2 when you can't even fucking sell half the team you've got.
Exactly.
Another reason to be positive then.
Go on.
Do you want it?
Go on.
The fixtures.
What?
Yeah. I know you play everyone twice, Steve, but
Oh my fucking days.
runs of fixtures can absolutely change how things feel. And for this, so United's fixtures so far, Arsenal and Tottenham away, both difficult games.
Yeah, okay.
Forest and Wolves at home, 2 less difficult games that we made difficult, but we did win.
Yeah. So
Right.
2 hard ones.
We fucking made them difficult.
Yeah,
did make
they
it difficult,
weren't.
but we
On
won
paper, those were easy fixtures. Let's not twist it.
The next 5 games are Brighton, which is obviously difficult, Burnley, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield United. Winnable.
Right. Why aren't you including Europe in that?
Because these are league games.
But
Because also, let's be honest, and this is
this
this is
matters.
very much a bad mentality. But we could feasibly lose to Bayern Munich away.
Oh,
and
could
it,
we?
But no, and it not matter.
I might bet that we shan't.
No, but we could lose that game and it not matter. Do you know what I mean? You can still go through.
That's the one game in
or
that
two.
group you go, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Like,
you know what though? Even though it's perverse and it's sick, and we'll probably get our asses handed to us, I'm looking forward to that one.
Courtois, that's the whole reason we want
I don't want
Champions League music.
Being in Europe and playing teams that I've never heard of before, like Sheriff and Lask and all these lot, and you're like, what? Googling what country am I flying to? Like, that's not as exciting as when you get in a game against one of the giants of world football. That's what it's about, and that's where United should be. So, whilst it's like, oh my God, we've got to go up against Bayern Munich, there's still a part of me that's like, yeah,
It's in
come
the
on,
next
bring
2
it
weeks,
up.
by the way. And I'm more worried about Brighton.
I think it's 2 weeks yesterday, isn't it?
Brighton's the one
Exciting.
where if we lose that, like the meltdown will be biblical.
Yeah.
Like, because that's it, innit? That's your home record that you've relied on going out the window.
It'd be when Burnley come and turn us over.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Penetrate that Brighton crust. I think we've got a good chance.
Nah,
of
do you know
coming
what?
through the side.
If you look at it the other way around, though, if you don't win like most of those games, it's gonna be minging.
Well, there's always that. But
There's
There's an
point.
opportunity here to win
Yes.
games,
And
and if you
also-
don't take it, it's gonna suck.
But this is what we tend to do under Eric Ten Hag. We win these games. We don't win the games we've lost. Like, obviously, but we don't win
Funny that.
we don't win those games away at the top teams.
we don't win games that we lose.
We don't do it though. We don't win the games against you. When you look at the fixtures, do you think we're going to go and win at Spurs? We're going to go and win at Arsenal?
Spurs, yeah, I did.
All right.
yeah.
Arsenal, did you think we're going to go and win there?
No, I'd have took a draw.
Right, well, I'd have took a draw.
would have been
but
well fair,
I'd have
that
took a
way.
draw because I didn't think we were going to win.
Yeah.
That's why I'd have took a draw. But you look at it and you go, we usually win our home games and we usually beat the lesser teams away from home. That is what got us third last season.
Yeah.
You don't lose 9 games, whatever it was, and finish third if you're not battering everyone at home.
No.
Bayern Munich's gonna fucking suck.
Yeah. Just on this fixture thing as well, it does matter who you play and the order of your games, because you were saying before the video, weren't you, about some of the other teams that were in surprising positions this time last season.
Yeah. Have we got a graphic from this time last year for the table? Just bring up the table, right? Because everyone's getting hyped and giddy about Spurs this season and out. Can you just move that other stuff out of the way, please? Yeah.
So this is after 6 games, obviously not 4, but very early in the season.
Yeah. Last season, Spurs were third. And ended up sacking 2 managers during the season.
Yeah.
Like, people are going now like, Spurs are great, look at what they're doing. They've been here before. Arsenal were flying last season right up, right? They stayed first, Arsenal, last season from
93% of the season.
August, right,
Meanwhile,
so April.
though, West Ham were 18th and they finished low down.
14th.
Nottingham Forest only just about survived. Leicester went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at Leeds and Southampton.
Oh yeah, and look,
mid-table
Manchester
teams.
City, where do they come? Oh, only one place different.
I'm not saying it's going to change radically, but
My
the
point is there,
yeah.
it changed, like, Spurs were solid in third right up until March, I think it was. And then ended up sacking 2 managers in the
We need
space
to
of
win
about a
our
month.
next 2 games just to match our bad start last year.
And Arsenal were flying all season. It doesn't stay the same. It doesn't. None of that is the same as how it finished. Name me one team that's in its same position, or name me 3 teams that are in the same position.
Brighton.
No, Brighton didn't finish.
Arsenal.
Brighton didn't finish 4th.
City have had a couple of draws, but
They're not. City, what are you on about? City finished top of the league.
Yeah.
What are you
It
talking
means
about?
from this to the
They're in the identical position that they finished in.
All right, no.
There is none.
Right. But
That's my point. It's too early to start saying now, this is how the table's going to be.
We're always going to be shit.
Do you know what I mean? Last season, people going, Spurs are flying under Conte. Look at the signings they've made. Look at what they've done. Conte's going to smash it. He gets sacked. His successor gets sacked and end up with Ryan Mason as manager.
Again.
You know what I mean? Arsenal, people go, Arsenal going to win the league. They've been top of the league all season. What do they do? They have a disastrous end to the season and they finish second and they win nothing. So it's too early to start going, right, this is how it's going to be. It's amazing when people are going, Spurs now under Postecoglou, they've cracked it. Yeah. Have you ever watched Spurs historically? Do you even remember last season? Yeah. We were having the same conversations.
I remember having these starts under Harry Redknapp.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I think they had this sort of start under Tim Sherwood at some point.
They had a purple patch under him, didn't they?
I think they had a start against AVB, didn't they? They had a very good start under Villas-Boas.
That might be a bit giddy.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to know about me and McCullough's conversation on Twitter about my excuse is I was on serious amount of drugs. But the point is, like, it changes, doesn't it? It changes. But, yeah, me and McCullough were predicting that AVB might be Fergie's successor at one point during a Twitter conversation.
Was that because
not even
of
a
how
DM,
well
it was like public.
How well they done at Spurs?
Nah, I can't remember when this was. I think I can't remember when it was. But it was obviously when Fergie, I can't remember, it was like 2011 or something like 2012.
Allow me to just Google where the fuck
you
he
find
is
that
at the moment.
But yeah, things change.
Terrible.
And this idea that Mount is already a failure, Onana's underperforming, Rashford's shit, Hojlund's crap, Casemiro's finished, all of these things aren't true. And if they are true, it's a coincidence because you cannot say after 4 games any conclusions about the season.
Marcus is a good case in point. Marcus started the season, first 2 games, he doesn't really do anything. No. Yeah, not a great game for him. I love Marcus, weren't great games for him.
Let's roll this back to AVB.
Go on then.
So there's a couple of things.
Let me try and find it. I'll try and find the tweet at me and
one, where is he now?
Yep. Right, okay.
Is that a question? Do you know? I'm going to guess, I could imagine him being the manager of the Iraqi national team.
Oh, no. Okay.
Is he at Costco?
He's unemployed.
Right, okay.
What was his last job?
He's too good.
See if you can roll through his managerial career.
So, was it Porto?
I'm going to take Porto as his first one because he was at Academica before, right?
Yeah.
But I will take Porto as his first managerial job.
Was it straight to Chelsea?
Correct, because he was Portuguese, come from Porto.
Jose.
We found the new Jose. Do you know where he got his start, though? Why he got his start?
Wasn't he... He worked under Jose, didn't he?
I thought he did, but that's not what this is saying here.
Who was it he worked under?
Oh, no, he did, actually. Yeah, he became the assistant under Jose.
Yeah, there you go.
He was a bit further down. Yeah, go
on. After there, he went to Tottenham.
No, I want his start.
Oh.
His start wasn't under Jose.
Oh, I don't know then. Was he like a translator or something?
Oh, Bobby Robson, wasn't it? His start was met Bobby Robson in the corridor.
They lived in the same apartment.
Yeah, he met him in the corridor.
And because his mum's from Stockport...
It's so Jose, it's unbelievable, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Grandmother is from Stockport. He speaks fluent English, so he had a conversation with Bobby Robson. And this is how mad football was in like probably the early 2000s, late 90s.
20 years ago.
He was like, has a conversation with Bobby Robson and gets a job at Porto in the observation department.
But he smashed it at Porto, didn't he, eventually?
Yeah. Like, but it's like...
And he was only like 27 or something when he took over.
But in it like... Stupid.
Yeah, listen.
It's also Benfica.
Yeah. Sporting occasionally.
So then he went from there to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Then he went from there to
Tottenham.
Then he went...
Valencia?
Nope. You might have got this one because this was quite well known at the time.
Roma?
Nope.
Go on.
Zenit,
yeah, of course.
Then he went to Shanghai at peak Chinese Super League.
Loved it.
Then he did a couple of years. He's only done 2 years anywhere. That's the most he's ever done.
He's done a national team though, hasn't he?
Nope. Huh. Finished at Marseille.
Wait, he'll be Brazil's next manager. Trust me.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Belgium.
Can I just say, right, I posted in 24th of the 7th, 2012.
Which at this point he was managing where, Steve?
2012, it might have been at Chelsea. Good chance he was at Chelsea or on the Chelsea Spurs.
It's July, so it's...
Probably Spurs.
Right. I put AVB will be the next United boss. Remember, you heard it here first. Now, I will say, anyone who knows me, knows that in 2012 I might not have been.
See, it's funny that because it says 5 to 9 on my birthday in 2012.
Yes.
And then it says from Earth, which is ironic because you were absolutely out of this planet mentally. So
do you know what annoys me, right?
From
when I've gotten the bits where it's me and Macca talking, he's deleted his bit of the conversation. It's like tweets deleted.
Have we
I've
figured
kept
out
mine.
why it says from Earth yet on the thingy?
I don't know. Actually.
Is he prepping for when someone tweets from Mars and he can say from Mars?
Probably, yeah. So, all right, I might have been wrong about that one. But my point is,
managers can have good starts to seasons and
players
it
can
not work out.
Like you say, the thing with Maddison, right? Everyone's on a Maddison hype now because he's had a good start to his Spurs season. Yeah, he's doing well, and everyone's like, Mount's rubbish, Maddison's great. Now, a few months ago, a lot of them people weren't saying that. They weren't going, oh, I can't believe United didn't get Maddison. Most people when he went to Spurs were like, yeah, that makes sense for them. And now it's like, oh, why didn't we get Maddison? You weren't calling for that 6 months ago, even 2 months ago.
When we had Bruno.
Yeah, it's just it's all this sort of recency bias, or it's happening now.
It's just anti-United.
You're right.
Like I quote tweeted something. LiveScore posted it, but it was from Sky Sports who originally did it, which was the most expensive Premier League 11, adjusted for inflation. That made fuck all sense.
Didn't you point out like they had players that moved within 6 months of each other, and one of them was double in value because it was United, and the other one is like.
Well, it was both United. So it was Di Maria and Pogba, 2015, 2016, quite famously. One 56 million and one 89 million. Very, very well-known transfer fees for these. Both. One was a British record, one was a world record. Their inflation price now, well, 160 for Di Maria, 165 for Pogba. And you're like, how?
Yeah. What happened in that 12 months? That inflation was like double what it is.
It's just
now.
Nonsense because all of the rest of them don't make sense. Rio Ferdinand, 30 million in 2002, 199 million. But it was really selective because he had Di Maria on left wing at 160 million. But Manchester City in 2008 bought Robinho for 40 million.
Yeah.
Which extrapolated up is about 260 fucking million in money now. So why wasn't he there? Why wasn't Alan Shearer the main striker? World record fee, 15 million, 1995. That is now somewhere in the region of 400 fucking million pound, about 360 to 400. Why wasn't he there? Why was it the Shevchenko one that was there? Graham Lasso at left back, which was a £5 million pound deal. Now that he's supposedly worth like 110, I think it was, something fucking nuts like that. Like the figures that they'd chosen. Didn't Van Dijk and Pogba go in the same year or within a year of each other? Van Dijk was fucking 75 million. So why is he not 160 million-ish now? Like, it didn't make sense. There was so many players not used. Kevin De Bruyne, right? Probably a fucking bargain still. But he was 40-something million in 2015.
Yeah.
I thought it was more than that. Yeah.
Like, so
that's similar to Di Maria numbers.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Like,
just rubbish. And that other thing from Sky we talked about it yesterday, but Onana's first 4 games and De Gea's last 4 games, and looking at goals conceded, save percentage, passes made, pass completion, and clean sheets, and it's just like that isn't. No one has ever done first 4, last 4 as a comparison. That's not an established comparison. That's just made up to make Onana try to look bad.
It was like their selected fucking fingers the other day. Like I might do a selected league table over the last 20 years. We'll just have United top. For all 20 years.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Yeah, we can do least home defeats last season, most away wins or whatever it was under Solskjaer.
Most clean sheets, yeah, we'll have that.
Most clean sheets, least away losses under Solskjaer. Like easy, least cheating. That pretty much puts us top
least cheating in
5
Manchester.
of the last 10 years.
Yeah, least cheating in Manchester. Yeah.
There you go. That's the thing.
Exactly. So there are some reasons to be positive. United don't play for another 10 days, but in those 10 days, let these reasons marinate within your stay. And maybe before we come back, before the break ends and we play Brighton, I'll come back to you and see if you're a happy-go-lucky, chirpy, softened.
Well, he's not going to completely change his personality if United start winning football matches. What are you on about?
That's true.
He went a happy, chirpy people when we won the trebles. Let alone when we beating Brighton at home.
Yeah, good point.
I'm a fucking ray of sunshine. I don't know what the fuck you're on about. I did my ice bath this morning.
Very good.
Stan corrected. He's a spiritual guru.
Yeah, I'm fucking
Hey,
all over it and that.
Very impressive. Right, that's going to be all from Off the Bar. Thank you to Green King Sport for sponsoring the show. The link is in the description. Check out the Green King Sport Instagram page. Loads of competitions, good stuff on there that all get announced, and it helps us out as well, like we said before. Thank you, Jay. Make sure you check out the Scotty and Marty podcast. Thank you, Steve. Make sure he's just everywhere. Ashley Williams, Rio Ferdinand, doing stuff on your own channel. You can't move for Stephen Howson, but make sure you check him out anyway. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a bit.